Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Can you all hear me? Give me a number one if you can hear me, please. Colorado Pack Rat Preppers in the house. How you doing? JT, how are you? Good to see you. Copernicus is in the house. Yarn Preppers in the house. Good to see you, ladies. Army Vet Trump Girl is in the house. How are you? Lori Knits, Virginia Grandma. How are you? CT87, Bucky Doodoo. Rex Wilhite, I sent you a text. Okay, I'll have to check it. That's my that phone that you sent me a text to is not the one that I carry with me everywhere. Okay, I'm getting a one. Good. Thank you for that. Farmed and dangerous. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is so much smoke in the air. We are having some wildfires here in Alaska, not close to where I live. I mean, like dangerously close. But it's close enough to be sending a lot of smoke, and there's nothing that we can really be doing outside. At least I won't be working outside with all of that smoke. So I was like, you know what? Let's do a little bit of a live stream. Being that the live stream that we had on Friday, I really didn't talk about any of the stuff that I had planned on talking about because we were just having such a good time, and we ended up doing that giveaway as well. So I figured we can do another live stream today and just have a little bit of fun, and maybe I can go over the stuff that I was going to go over on Friday. Queen Nee, how are you doing? Sue Me, how are you? Good to see you. Nora May, DT, Prepper 87, how are you? All the way from Germany. Amazing Grandma, how are you doing? Trump Be Cool is in the house. The Alchemist is here. How you doing? Happy Sunday to you. It's been a long time since we did a live stream during a Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Chester Kelsey. Keisha Wagner is in the house. How are you doing? Let me see. Keisha says, I still have yet to eat anything I've canned. Is that normal? Well, you should try it just to make sure that you like the texture of how it is after you canned. I mean, the calories are going to be there for sure if that's all you're worried about. But if you can something, you should definitely try it, especially if you can some meat. Man, if you try the canned meat, if you pressure can meat, you're going to like it because it just makes it so tender. At least that's what I think. I love canned or pressure canned meat. Pressure canned brisket, even though it's super fatty, oh my goodness, it's so good. Let me see. Hey, Michigan mate, how are you doing? Good to see you. You made it today. A beautiful day is here. Forest Monster, Mama Bear, Maui, how are you doing? All the way from Maui. SBJJ, Kevin Fallon, how are you? Greetings from Jamestown, New York. Hello to you, Lori. Ball Homestead. Jan is in the house. All of the ladies are here today, so be careful, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it family friendly because if not, one of my wrench carriers will knock you over the head with one of their wrenches, all right? So be good. Marilyn, how are you doing? Good to see you. Elizabeth, Donald White, David Holder. Italian Eddie is in the house once again. Paul Davis, Storm Rider. Good to see you. Hey, Thomas from Austria is in the house. How are you doing, my friend? It's good to see you. Marsoc Raider, Ashlyn 1217. How are you doing? Kitsy Witsy is here. Brenda Hunt. How you doing, Karen Zinkowski? Rex Wilhite is in the house. Let me see. We had some ash. Oh, did you? We had some ash, huh? Wow, I haven't seen any ash here where I live. But if the fire is big enough, it will find its way here eventually. Jeffrey Lindquist, Robin Puckett, 3 dogs and a paw. New Florida Prepper is here. Danny Dixon, Ray Kaplan. Let's see. I want to go ahead and show you all a very small amount of mail call that I received because I received an awesome letter in the mail and an awesome gift. It's really funny how life works, ladies and gentlemen. You all know if you were here on Friday that we did a little bit of a giveaway. We gave away several of these Alaska Prepper silver coins. Let me see if you can see it all right. But we gave away several of these. And what I did is with every solar generator that I ended up giving away this morning, by the way, I ended up giving away a silver coin as well. So I have some mail that's been sitting here for a little bit that I haven't opened yet. And I opened this letter and I get this card in the mail. I'm not going to show you the writing or anything or the actual, envelope because it's got the address. But I get this in the mail and it has an awesome story. An awesome story about a person has a young family and how their preparedness journey is going. Actually, doesn't have a young family yet. He's married, but his wife is due to have a baby this November, if I remember correctly. And he's saying how thankful he is that he is prepared, because now that he's going to be a father, he can feel the weight of the responsibility that is going to be beholden to him once his baby comes into the world. So it was a great read. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I hope that you are watching, the person that sent this. And let me see if I can get away. Well, I can get away with your first initial because that's all you provided. Your first initial is C, as in Charlie, and you are from Georgia. All right, so thank you very much. I hope you're watching, and I want you to know that I received this. I was actually trying to make out your handwriting so that I can know what your address is, but I cannot make it out completely. And on top of that, the reason I brought up the silver that we gave away on Friday is because as I'm giving away silver, right, ladies and gentlemen, here in the mail that I had stacked up that I was hadn't looked through yet is a silver coin. This is a peace dollar, and I believe this is from 1922. No, this one is from 1923. This is a 1923 peace dollar that the gentleman that sent me this card sent me. So I want to say thank you very much for this. This is actually a beautiful coin. Let me take it out of the wrapper so you can all take a look at it. Look how pretty that is. And to tell you the truth, I haven't seen a 23 before. Most of the peace dollars that I've seen are 22s. And here's the back. The back should be flip side up. That's what the back looks like for those of you that aren't familiar with the peace dollar. All right, so thank you very much. Again, I hope that you're watching this and that you know that I truly do appreciate you sending me this. Another quick thing that I got sent. Now, this is not by per se like a community member. On the letter it says that they're subscribed to the channel, but this is from a company that sells canning lids. It's not 4 jars, right? For all of you that have been here for a while, you know that I'm affiliated with 4 jars because I think they make really good lids. But this is a company that I've never heard of, and the lids that they make are pretty interesting. It's called Superb, right? And these lids, they have a seal, like a seal around them. The lids do, that is blue. You see that? And they're supposedly rated for 36 months, whereas I believe that the ball or the cur are rated for like 18 months. But, I never go by that. I've got ball and cur lids that have been sealed for years and years, and they're still just fine. They haven't lost their seal or anything. But I never got any information from this company. They never sent me an email. I just got the package in the mail. So I'm assuming that they would like me to share with you all what I think about the lids. So what I will do is later on in the year when I start doing pressure canning again, which is usually when it starts getting a little bit chilly outside, I'll go ahead and use those and let you all know what they're like. If any of you have experience with those lids right there, the Superb brand, let us know if you've used them before and if you like them. Okay, let me go ahead and say hello to a few more of you. Maggie Smith, how are you doing? Sean of Alaska, how you doing? Good to see you, brother. Let's see. Let's bring it down some. Chelsea Hutchinson is in the house. Good to see you. We have, I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly. Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger, all the way from England. Welcome. Good to have you. Justin Baker, how you doing? Scott Hummer's in the house. Let's see. The Moose is Loose is in the house. All the way from the BC. The Short Bus Mooner. Oh, that's funny. Let's see. Chessie Gloina, how are you? Good to see you. I made it today, says Jen N. Bama. Well, good to see you, Jen. I'm glad that you made it. Bingo 77 is in the house. Pantry Mama is here, and she is dehydrating some zucchini chips and canning spaghetti meat sauce. Can't go wrong with that, man. Let's see. Okay, let's bring it down a little bit more. Lady Freedom, how are you? Good to see you. Florida Boys Shuffle, how are you? The Amish Country Prepper, thank you for becoming a member of the Ladies and Gentlemen's Club. Now, for my club members, I will be releasing a video later on this evening that will be published on YouTube, regular YouTube, tomorrow, right? It's very interesting. I can say that. Let's see what else. Hill Summit Homestead. Let's see. Jeffrey Lindquist. AP, do you still have a discount code for Nutrient Survival? Yes, AP10 is the discount code for 10% off. But I do believe that right now they have 15% off their payday prep. Every other Friday, they have a payday prep. And this Friday's or this week's was a 72-hour bundle. Or pretty much any bundle that you want to pick, whether it be a 72-hour or 90-day. It's 15% off. So that's a really good price. You don't need to use a code for the 15% off bundle if that's what you want to get. But if you use my AP10 code, you'll save 10% off anything else that you may want on there. All right. And let me say this now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support the channel, use the links that I have provided in the description of my video, only if you're going to go and visit those businesses and patronage them. All right. Only if you're going to use them. If you use my code, it doesn't cost you a penny more. Patricia, how are you doing? It's actually kind of cool today here, Patricia, because of all of the smoke that's blocking the sun. So it is kind of a cool day out today. Saddle Ridge, how are you doing? Snakebite, how are you? Liz Watson, how are you? Good to see you. I think the fire is just a wildfire, Liz. You know, I haven't really looked into it too much because we're so used to that here. Just about every year we have some kind of a fire somewhere in the state of Alaska. I was surprised that we had a fire near us. And when I say near us, I mean more than 10, 20, 30 miles away because we've had so much rain in the last couple of weeks that I was like, wow, I can't believe we have a fire. I figured that the ground was still wet. Well, that's great. Good for you, Arson. Just started prepping, have a lot to learn, but slow and steady wins the race. Remember that, okay? Don't overwhelm yourself. Slow and steady wins the race, and that's one of the things that I'm going to talk about today. On top of some of the news articles that I want to go over with you that I didn't go over on Friday, is when is enough enough, ladies and gentlemen? When is enough enough? Let me go ahead and cover that right now because there's a funny story behind it. All right. So I was able to talk to one of our community members I think yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. He's from Las Vegas. Not Las Vegas. He's from Nevada. All right. And his name is Luke. So how you doing, Luke, if you're listening in? And we had a conversation and it's kind of funny because so here we're talking and he's explaining to me that he's a little bit worried because he doesn't think that he's prepared enough. Okay. So he's telling me what his preps look like. And I'm going to go ahead and pretty much tell you what he told me. And no, don't worry, Luke. Nobody's going to know where you live. I don't even know where you live. So he's like, well, I have a really nice big house and it's on a 5-acre piece of land. I believe it was 5 acres. He said 5 acres or 3 acres. And it's right next to a lake. And I'm like, all right, check. That's awesome. Water source. And he says, it's outside of the city and there's no one around me. You have to look for me if you want to find me. You're not just going to run into me. I'm like, awesome. That's great. Check. You know, outside of the city and a pretty low population density. And he says, but I only have about 4 to 5 years worth of food storage for me and my 2 children. He's a single dad and he has 2 children. He says, I only have 4 to 5 years of food storage for us. And I'm just not sure that's enough. So I said, okay, check. And then he says, and I'm pretty much debt free except for my house. I'm like, great, check. And then he says, and I only have about 19,000 rounds of freedom seeds, right? For my multiple firearms that I own. I'm like, okay, check. And then he finishes it off with I only have a little bit of silver. I've got about $15,000 worth of silver put away. He says, I don't have that much money in the bank. I don't have that much fiat currency, but that's all I have. And he says, what do you think? And I'm like, you know what? I said, you're probably about the best prepared person that I've talked to since, including myself. I said, you have nothing to worry about. Now you've done the best that you can do as far as having as many preps and as well organized as you have them. Because he explained to me how he had them organized and everything. He rotates through stuff. So I was like, take a little bit of time to smell the roses. And he goes, well, that's what we're doing right now. We're at the lake and the kids are swimming in the lake. And I'm like, that's awesome. So when is enough enough, ladies and gentlemen? It's different for everyone. For Luke, he didn't think it was enough. Oops, sorry about that. My phone is going off over there and I'm not going to get up and get it. So hopefully you can hear through it. So, well, you know what? Just a second. Let me see. Maybe it's somebody trying to get a hold of me from here. Yeah, that's Adam. That's Adam. He's supposed to be here. He's the one that's getting the tree. Okay. No, it's not Chief. Okay. Thanks. Bye. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, it was a good phone call. My wife was letting me know that someone's in our yard cutting down a tree or cutting up a tree. And it's somebody that I had already told he can come over and have some wood because I had a few trees cut down and we don't have a wood stove. So I just, asked around to see if anybody needed it so they can come and get it and clean up. So it's a good trade-off either way. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, when is enough enough? Enough is when you think it's enough for you to prepare for as long as you want to prepare. If you want to prepare for a year, then enough is when you have enough preps to get you through a full year where you can tell yourself, all right, if I can't leave my property for a full year, do I have enough preps? Then there you go. Enough is enough. But eventually, no matter what part of your preparedness journey you're on, you're going to eventually come to a point where enough is enough. Now, go ahead and make sure that you smell the roses. Take a little bit of time to have some fun, just like Luke was doing with his kids. So that is when enough is enough. It's when you feel comfortable that you can make it, in my opinion, of course, everyone is different. When you feel comfortable that you have a 1 year supply of everything that you can possibly need for a year, if in case you cannot make it out, of your immediate area for a year, you have enough to barter with your neighbors, things like that. That's when I think that enough is enough. But when is enough for you? I can't really tell you when enough for you is. You'll have to figure that out depending on how much property you have, depending on whether you're debt free, depending on whether you have the storage capacity to continue to prepare. Because one of the things that Luke and I were discussing is that, hey, I would rather have my wealth in physical goods, in physical hard assets, than to have it in fiat currency, right? So when is enough enough? Well, it depends on your socioeconomic status, on your financial status, and on all of those factors that we just went over, on how much room you have, where you live, all of those things. So make sure that you are able to answer that question for yourself. And then once you reach that point where you've got enough, then you have to try to learn to just fill in the gaps, right? Just learn to fill in the gaps. Being prepared and preparedness is a great lifestyle, but I don't think that you ought to be 100% immersed in it to where that's all you think about. I just found out here not too long ago. I was doing a little bit of cleaning and rearranging, right? Taking a look at some older preps, rearranging preps, and all those kind of things. And I'm like, you know what? We have enough food here in the AP household. We have enough food, plenty, and that's it. I'm not buying any more long-term food storage because we have plenty. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and continue to fill in the gaps. Right, I'm going to continue to fill in the gaps. And if something comes up where I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I never thought of that, then of course we're going to go ahead and get that as well. So when is enough enough? It's a question you have to answer for yourself. And then once you've got that answer, work towards that goal. And then once you get to that goal, it's important that you stop and live life, ladies and gentlemen. Right? I think it's very important. Let me see. Kristen, how you doing? Hello from drought-stricken Minnesota. Jacqueline Johnson, how are you doing? Good to see you. Let's see who else. Atta Girl Prepping is here. Yeah, I kind of just went ahead and did this live stream, Atta Girl, because outside is pretty smoky. Actually, yeah, Adam here, the guy that's cutting the trees. I don't know if you hear the chainsaw in the background. Yeah, he's breathing in some smoke right now because it's pretty smoky outside. Fluffy Otter 1, how are you doing? Sunset, how are you? Good doing? Good to see you. Let me see who else. Linda Bop is in the house. Well, wait a minute. I am super far behind. Let's go ahead and bring this a little bit forward. We'll do a little bit of chit-chatting, and then I'm going to go ahead and share with you some of the things I want to go over with you today. You know what? I always learn what's going on in Alaska secondhand. I think it was a week or two ago. Excuse me. Sorry about that. About a week or two ago, there was an earthquake. And I learned that secondhand from you all right? From an email that I got from one of you all. And then I learned that, right here, it says flooding in Juneau, stay safe. I just learned that from you all. And the fires, I didn't even know that we were having fires until I think it was Mario who sent me an email asking about the fires. And then I looked into it and I was like, yeah, I guess we are having fires. Because I did smell a little bit of smoke a few mornings ago, but it wasn't that much. And then I got an email from Mario, and then I looked into it, I'm like, yeah, I guess we are having fires. So you all keep me abreast as to what's going on in the state that I live in. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. Farmed and Dangerous says, Superb are my favorite brand of lids. Very high quality. That is good to know. So I can't wait to go ahead and review those. I actually have I think it's 3 solar generators that I'm reviewing in this month. I'm going to try to do my first one this week. 3 solar generators. Now you know why I was giving away some of those solar generators the other day. Hey, Trucker Hersey, how you doing? Russ Reed, how you doing? Good to see you. Carrie Davis, hello. NC. Let's see. Moose Shah from Virginia, how are you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. Okay, bringing it down some. All right. Bonnie Bethel, how are you? Good to see you. Village Homestead is in the house. Let's see. T. Moore, how are you? TJ Pelfrey. Let's see. TJ says, I bought some of those lids from a Mennonite store in Crossville, Tennessee, but haven't used them yet. Okay. Hey, John H., how you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well, man. How's your back doing? Thank you, by the way. I hope you let me know how your back is doing. And you don't have to leave a super chat to let me know how your back is doing, brother. Just leave it all in caps, all right, so that I can read it or try to catch it. Yeah, Rex, that's what I heard, that the closest one is about 25, 26 miles away. Yep. Heroes Unknown, how you doing? I think you're the one. If you're not the one, I have to return a phone call to someone that left a card at the coin shop for me. I think it might be you, Heroes Unknown. Ma 2 is in the house. How you doing, Ma? Good to see you. Edward Petters, how you doing? Yeah, Oregon wants to ban hunting or keeping animals for food. Of course, ladies and gentlemen. All you have to do is study history, right? Whenever a truth teller or someone within the preparedness community goes back to history, studies history, and says, hey, this is what's happened in history before, where governments have used food as a tool. People call you a conspiracy theories. They call you a nut. That would never happen today. The government will never use, food as a tool to control the people. Well, heck, why not? They've done it in the past. The institution of government is still the same that it's been for the last several hundred years, ladies and gentlemen. Government is nothing but force. It's been the same since the beginning of time. So if they've done it in the past, used food as a control mechanism to control what they want their people to do, why wouldn't they do it today? What is the big difference between government today and government 100 or 200 years ago? I don't see that much of a difference as far as the structure of government. Bass Skirt Girl, do you think cash is going to be worth having or just gold and silver? Cash is definitely going to be worth having for a certain amount of time if we ever have a complete full crash. Because if we have a complete full crash, cash is, let's say I believe that when the dollar goes or before the dollar goes, all other currencies outside of the dollar, especially those that are in Western nations, will go first. For example, let's say that the EU goes. let's say that their currency plummets and they're just in hyperinflation. Guess what? I'm going to start taking all the dollars that I have everywhere that I have them and start converting them into real goods and into real money, i.e. gold and silver. That's what I would be doing, right? But we will still have some time to be able to trade those dollars for some hard assets. Why? Because most of the population is not aware of what a dollar is. Most of the population doesn't even understand that a Federal Reserve note is exactly that, a note. This right here, where is it? This is a real one right here. This one right here, this doesn't even belong to you. This note doesn't even belong to you. Take a $20 bill out of your wallet, out of your pocket, wherever. Take a $1 bill. It doesn't even legally belong to you, ladies and gentlemen. It is a debt note. All right. So when you work 40 hours a week and you bring home a paycheck, you were paid with debt. You were paid with something that is still owed to you. Think about that. All right. Think about that before you cash your next paycheck and before you go to work again for another 40 hours next week. You're being paid with debt. So most people don't know that. So when the dollar is soon to become worthless because there's some kind of a catastrophe, be it a financial or natural, that's going on somewhere around the world or within our own nation, right before it becomes worthless, people that know that what's going on, they can still use those dollars to turn them into real things, right? And people that don't, they're going to be selling whatever they have that they can sell for those dollars that you'll be able to give them, right? So yes, it'll be good for a while, but in the end, what I think will happen is not that we will have a Mad Max. It's that we will switch into a different paradigm where we will then once again have a monetary system that is not trustworthy. And what do I mean by not trustworthy? That is using sound money. And when I say not trustworthy is because if I pay you in silver, you don't have to trust that this is going to be able to buy you something because it's already got all of its value within itself. You don't have to trust this. This is untrusted. Oops, sorry. So you don't have to trust the silver because it's real. The value is within it. You have to trust this. You have to trust that this is going to keep its value long enough for you to extract the hard assets from it that you can while you still have it, while it still has value. So you have to trust a dollar. You need to have confidence in a dollar. You have to have zero confidence for silver. Zero confidence. Why? Because it is what it is. It's real money. All right. So I think I beat that one pretty good. Let's keep bringing it on down. I don't even remember what articles I wanted to go over with you, but I do know that they're pretty good ones. So we are going to get to that. Hey, thank you, Arheath. Thank you very much. From the People's Republic of Chicago. I'm sorry, Arheath. Thank you very much for being here, by the way. Yeah, that's a shame. I think that Chicago, or at least the state of Illinois, is in one of my articles today. I think it is. I might be wrong, though. I'm a little bit senile, ladies and gentlemen. The 49th state, how you doing? Let me see. Okay, let's see. Bringing it down. I am really far behind. So sue me. I do not know what Oregon's IP3 is. Fill me in. Put it in all caps. I do not know what that is. The Anonymous Prepper Channel. How you doing? Good to see you here, brother. I'm guessing that you're a brother. Snakebite. How you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. Danielle. Oh, Denali dude. How are you doing? Anyone know of a way to get ivermectin? Where and how? Just for prophylactic even. God bless you. Thank you very much. And God bless you as well. I do not know where to get ivermectin. I really don't. I talked to someone a while back and they said that they were able to secure some, I think from India, but I don't know where to personally get it from. They won't sell that, even though it's one of the safest drugs that has ever been used in the history of mankind. They won't sell it because they know that, in my opinion, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. They know that it works. So that was all my opinion, though. All right, let's bring it down some. Okay, I'm caught up. So, ladies, oh, look at this. Lenny, what is up, man? I was actually thinking about you, brother. I'll maybe we'll talk tomorrow, okay? Or if not, later on tonight. Are you done? Are you done yet? Or are you almost done? Ladies and gentlemen, this is my very good buddy. This is one of my very best friends that actually had to PCS out of Alaska and go to New York. But he's getting ready to retire if he hasn't done so already. So that's awesome, man. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at a few things that I wanted to talk about on Friday. And it's probably old news by now. But what I'm going to do is I'll probably break these little segments up and put them up as videos either later on tonight or tomorrow. That way, those that wanted to see the meat and potatoes of today's live stream, they can at least see those and not have to sit through the 20 minutes of salutations and such. All right. I know some people don't like that, and that's okay. All right. But try and make it so that they can see the meat and potatoes. But let's add this to the stream. And the first one here that I wanted to talk about on Friday is there is a financial crisis brewing in offshore wind energy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is just very confusing to me, because if there is a climate change emergency, all right, let's say that there is a climate change emergency, why in the world aren't governments just printing money out of thin air to bail out these windmill companies that are going bankrupt? Right? I'm going to go ahead and read some of this to you. It says a financial crisis is unfolding in the offshore wind power industry. The ultra efficient and reliable form of clean energy production is an essential component of all of the world's possible decarbonation pathways. Let me tell you one thing right now. I don't have a PhD. I have an associate's degree, ladies and gentlemen, in general education, which basically means that I went to high school for an extra 2 years. That's what that means. There will be no such thing as decarbonization, meaning that we can go to net zero. That is a pipe dream that is being sold to the world's population in order to make you broke, to separate you from your wealth and your freedom, ladies and gentlemen. And that was all my opinion, right? But I stand by that. Let me see. But soaring inflation costs have undercut the sector's growth and left major projects dead in the water just when their output is most needed. So the governments have been taking money from the people in the form of taxes, in the form of inflation, in the form of regulatory taxes, and all of those things, right? So that they can subsidize these large companies so that they can put up windmill farms. But now, because the government has printed so much money out of thin air, and that money has had to go and find its value from the money that you earned into existence, right? These companies cannot afford to finish their projects because the inflation measures that the government has taken has actually caught up to them as well, and they can no longer afford it. So they take your money, all right, so that they can build these farms, these windmill farms, but by taking so much of your money, they created so much inflation that now even those people that they're subsidizing to build those windmill farms can't build them anymore because they're going bankrupt because they can't afford it. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we live in an opposite world. That's where I think we live. Excuse me. The expenses associated with a typical U.S. offshore project before bonus tax credits released to the Inflation Reduction Act has increased by 57% since 2021. So the cost of putting up these wind farms since 2021, ladies and gentlemen, which just happens to be about 2 years ago, right? I'm going to cover why 2 years matters. The cost has gone up by 57%. Now, for those of you that have been with me for a while, you'll remember me ranting about how the government in 2 years was able to create out of thin air through the power of inflation 40% of all of the money that has ever existed since the beginning of this country, right? The first 2 years of this health crisis, the government took it to themselves to say, hey, you know what? We can't get enough money by taxation, so let's do that form of taxation that people don't really know much about. And that's called inflation, inflating the money supply. So let's go ahead and inflate the money supply by borrowing, right? by borrowing pretty much from ourselves, by allowing the Federal Reserve to monetize debt through the banks, and then the banks buying the debt from the government. So let's go ahead and increase the money supply by 40%. And now they are surprised that inflation has gone up, at least in the windmill industry, by 57%. I would say that inflation has gone up more than that in the last 2 to 3 years. Go ahead and buy yourself a bag of rice, ladies and gentlemen. A bag of rice in the last 3 years has gone up at least double, if not more. And that's one of your cheapest forms of calories that there is in the market. Take a look at all of the other things that you need in order to live. And the things have gone up in price at least double, if not more, in the last 3 years. We all know that gasoline has gone up at least twice in the last 3 years, if not more, and it's going back up. And guess what? It's going to go even higher. Saudi Arabia just said that they're going to go ahead and cut another 1 million barrels per day because they need the price of oil to stay up. And that's bad news for the United States of America, because when we were once a country that was self-sustainable with energy, now we depend on imports. We depend on imports during a time when our strategic petroleum reserves are at less than half full of what they normally are. So if we have a big emergency, we have 20 days of crude oil in our emergency stash in order to get through that crisis. Let's hope that the crisis doesn't last more than 30 days, ladies and gentlemen. In a time when our supply is less than half full, the price of oil is going even higher, meaning that we're not going to fill that up anytime soon. The price of oil is going to go up, which means that the price of everything is going to continue to go up, which means that inflation, as the average person knows it, i.e., the price of things going up, is going to continue. It's not going to stop, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're not preparing, if you're not prepared, you better start preparing or continue to prepare. And at the very least, in the best case scenario, continue to fill in your gaps. All right. So let's see if, let me say thank you very much to A Beautiful Day. Thank you very much for that super chat. And we'll go ahead and take some. If you have any comments or questions about what we just talked about, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and leave them on, and then we can go on to the next one. Okay, let's see. I'm bringing it down some. Oh, I didn't know this, Commando. Commando says alert. China and Russia send warships near Alaska, triggering forceful U.S. response. The source is Fox News. Man, did this just happen, Commando? Interesting. You never see me get very excited about news like this. And the reason is because there's just absolutely nothing that we can do about that kind of stuff. The only thing that we can do is react. As far as like the people here in Alaska, all we can do is react to anything that happens, and hopefully we're prepared to react appropriately. But, you know, I won't get excited about that stuff because there's nothing that we can do. Let's see. Okay, all right. Let's see what else. Let's see what else I got here. How you doing, Ali Roo? E.T., how you doing? Rhonda, Justin, Crafty Craft, how are you? Let's see what else I have up in here that maybe I wanted to talk about on Friday. Okay, here we go. America's largest grid operator saved by natural gas, coal, and nuclear power as temperatures exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit in many of the states. So I put out a video, I don't know, about the middle of last week. I put out a video showing that I pretty much was telling people, hey, get prepared for this. Get a generator. Everyone in the United States ought to have, first and foremost, in my opinion, as far as preparedness goes, ought to have a gasoline or gas generator. Yes, I love solar generators. I don't know if you can see them from here, probably not. I love solar generators, ladies and gentlemen. You see me review them all the time. But I believe that everyone, every family, every household ought to have at least a gas generator first before complementing it with a solar generator. And then I was telling you all how important it is. On that video, I was telling you all how important it is that we do have access to oil, that we have access to coal, that we have access to natural gas. Because if it were left up to only green energy, i.e. windmills, solar panels, then we wouldn't be able to keep the lights on for those states that are drawing 100-degree days and more. And some people may say 100-degree days, wow, for so many continuous days, this is a record. It is, it's not, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to show you something here later on in this presentation that will show you why I think we're having these really hot days during this summer. All right. So next time, if you're one of those people that are in the green camp, and listen, I love solar panels, I love solar generators. I think that electric cars are cool for those people that can afford it, and it's definitely not for the middle class, right? Because the average person that purchases an electric vehicle is a six-figure earner, right, ladies and gentlemen? So it's not for the middle class. All of those tax rebates, that $7,500 tax rebate that the government gives to someone who buys an electric vehicle, it's not for you if you're part of the middle class, because the middle class is not the one that's buying it. It's people that make six figures or more, right? And the middle class in the United States of America, I believe, is around $40-something thousand a year. So you're way far. The middle class is way far from being a mass consumer of electric vehicles, but they are paying for those subsidies that are going to those people that are purchasing those electric vehicles. All right. And with the electric vehicles, the way that is going, the way that they want to do it, we don't even have the infrastructure to do that. And even if we did have the infrastructure, we would not be able to feed enough electricity into the infrastructure with solar panels, with windmills. Maybe if we had enough nuclear plants, we would be able to do so, but they don't have any plans on building any new nuclear plants en masse anytime soon. Ladies and gentlemen, as the United States is tearing down its coal plants, as we are tearing down our coal plants, China is building 2 coal plants a day. As we are tearing down our coal plants, so is India, building more coal plants per day. So we are tearing ours down so that we can then go ahead and export our carbon footprint. It is ridiculous. You know why? Because when we need that energy, we will not be able to produce it ourselves. It's just like the pharmaceutical complex, right? Most of our pharmaceuticals come from where? Come from China and come from India, right? What happens when China cuts us off? What happens when India cuts us off? We've outsourced the production of our pharmaceuticals, and we need pharmaceuticals in this country. Heck, the United States, I believe, is the most medicated nation in the world. So we need pharmaceuticals here. For whatever reason, what happens when they cut us off? Well, we no longer have the ability to produce them ourselves. But a certain percentage, about 10% of pharmaceuticals are made here in the United States of America. Okay, let's say that they are. Do you know where the raw ingredients come from for that 10% of pharmaceuticals that's made here in the U.S.? Comes from China. Do you know where the raw ingredients come from for the 40% of the pharmaceuticals that we get from India? Do you know where their raw ingredients come from? They come from China. So all China has to do is say, hey, India, we're not going to send you any more raw materials if you keep selling pharmaceutical products to the United States of America. Has anyone looked at China lately as to how friendly they are with us? Well, here, I just I just read one of the comments from one of our community members that said that China and Russia ships just made a big show of force off the coast of Alaska. Ladies and gentlemen, what we've been doing here in the United States of America, when I say we, it's not you. Don't be triggered. It's not you per se, but it's the leadership. The leadership has taken us down the wrong road. They've taken us down the road where they have been able to profit, and we will in turn end up paying the price in the long term. And what I mean by paying the price, I don't mean by paying the price, like in money, but paying the price in lives lost. We will have a reckoning coming one day, and I believe that that day is getting closer and closer because China eventually, all they have to do is dump the debt. Oh, but AP, if they dump all of the debt, all of the bonds that they own, it'll hurt them as well. As long as they have secured the things that they need from other countries, i.e. Argentina, look at Africa. China is all over Africa. As long as they have secured and made contracts with other countries around the world that can provide them with the stuff that they need, with food, with metals, with oil, with coal, with natural gas, all those things, they should have no problem cutting us off. Am I saying that's going to happen? Man, I'll tell you what, I hope not. I hope it doesn't happen until after we have rebuilt our manufacturing here in the United States, where we can actually make stuff here from stuff that's made here, ladies and gentlemen. I went to Samson's Ace hardware store, right? I went there because I needed to buy a few little things, a few gaskets and such that I needed. So I said, let me go over there because I don't know exactly what I need. And I know if I go to Lowe's or Home Depot, I'm not going to be able to find someone that can be intricate with me and walk me around. So I went there, and Mike was there, who's the owner of that Ace hardware store, the only Ace hardware store in Fairbanks, I believe. So if you're in Fairbanks and you haven't checked out the Ace hardware store off of Pegger Road, go check it out because they're really good people there, and they pretty much have anything you need there. And they'll actually walk you to whatever it is that you're needing. So I went over there and I asked Mike, I was like, hey, Mike, I seen that he had a whole bunch of flashlights up there. And you all know how I always need a new flashlight. I was like, do you have any flashlights here that are made in the United States? And he said to me, I don't remember when flashlights were ever even made in the United States. It's how long it's been. So flashlights aren't even made here in the United States, ladies and gentlemen. I think I found one flashlight company in the last several years that made flashlights here in the US. And the flashlights, the quality was just not good. Their flashlights they were selling were like, I don't know, 30 lumen or 40 lumen, something like that. And they were selling them for over $100, like $106. They looked like they were pretty hefty flashlights, you know, but they were like maybe 1/3 of the lumen. Do I have mine here? 1/3 of the lumen than what this little flashlight here sells for. This flashlight sells for $10. That other flashlight sells for over 100. This one has 90 lumen. That other flashlight had like 30 lumen. So why in the world would you do that? But I have hope that eventually we will have either someone in office or an event will occur where we will have no choice but to bring back manufacturing to this country and keep it in this country. The only thing that I guess I would say I'm afraid of is that the event that would for sure bring manufacturing back to the United States would be a world war, right? But I'm hoping that that's not the case and that we just wake up and bring it back either way. Even though it may cost a little bit more, it's better that we just keep it within the United States. Let's see. Let's bring it down a little bit. Hey, how you doing, Boss Hog? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, that's a good warning, Mindy. Don't park those EVs in your garage or near your house if you have one. I guess we've all heard about how they can, catch on fire very easily. Let's see. Okay, bringing it down some. Yeah, Patricia, this is pretty much what they're looking at, or what we're looking at if we go that way. Alert, get rid of gas cars, buy electric cars. Grid is down. Everyone now walks. Well, it might be good. That might be a good thing, right, for our health. But not in the world that we live in today, where we are, I guess you can call it not urbanized, but where we live far away from our jobs and such. How you doing, Maida Page? Good to see you. Julie, how are you doing? Good to see you. Doggone it, how are you doing? Good to see you. 2 Acres Homestead, nice to see you. Let's see. Ali Ru says, AP, I think I like you looking at the camera better. Am I the only one? Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this is working for the most part because this is how it's going to be for a while. Let's see. I think what I can do also is I'm going to see if I can manipulate the chats. That way I can move it to where when I read them, I'm reading them right under the camera. Because right now I'm looking at the camera right now, right? And then right now I'm looking at the chats, right? So I think maybe I'll mess with this. Not now because I don't want to mess anything up. But I think I'll mess with this so that when I'm looking at it, I can be looking at the camera at you all. Because now all you're looking at right now is just the side of my face right here, this one. Steven, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Let's see. Who is that? Snakebite, how you doing? Yeah, it is a shame, Snakebite. We don't make anything here anymore. It is a shame. It's a heck of a shame. It really is. R Heath, thank you, R Heath. Everyone, give Rudy a thumbs up. Thank you very much, Arhi. Thank you for that. Yeah, a thumbs up does help, ladies and gentlemen. It helps the YouTube algorithm. It really does help. And I'll tell you what, the YouTube algorithm has not been very nice to me lately. I don't know what I've been doing. I've been trying to be good. I've been trying to be good so that the algorithm can show me a little bit of favor. But for some reason, it just hasn't liked me for a while. But it is what it is, right? What can you do? Let's see. All right, let's see what else we've got going on. Let's see what else I came up with here not too long ago, here Friday. Okay, here, ladies and gentlemen, here, Beijing battered by heaviest rainfall in 140 years. I'm not sure if you've heard about this, that China got an enormous amount of rain and it pretty much shut down Beijing. On Wednesday, meaning last Wednesday, the 3rd of August, let's see, Beijing lifted flood warnings following the heaviest rainfall the Chinese capital has experienced in over 140 years. It's got to be climate change. It has to be climate change, ladies and gentlemen. Where I was taking a look at this, and I was thinking about all of the rain that we've been having all over the world, right? I'm like, man, we've had so much rain this last year. Where is this rain coming from? Because what they're telling you is that, well, the earth is getting warmer, and therefore a lot more water is evaporating up into the atmosphere, and then we're getting a lot more rain. But ladies and gentlemen, I was actually watching Adapt 2030 with Mr. David Dubine, and he brought up something that makes an awful lot of sense. Let me see if I queued that up for the next one. Let me see if I queued that up. If not, it's going to be pretty close. Let's see. And here it is. Now, do you all remember a little over a year ago where Mount Tonga erupted and blasted unprecedented amounts of water into the stratosphere? Now, when I put out that video where I did do a little bit of covering of that mount, if you all remember, it was a huge explosion. That it was like even bigger than Mount Everest, but it was a huge explosion where this volcano Tonga erupted underwater, and it spewed at least 10% of all of the water that was in the atmosphere already up there, which is a huge amount. So when I was covering that story, I talked about how that could very likely cause the globe to cool because it has so much water in the atmosphere. And then someone told me, well, water can cause global warming as well. So I did a little bit of research, and water in the atmosphere, it can cause global warming or cooling, depending on what part of the atmosphere is in. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been having record-breaking heats only about a year or so after this happened. And that's about how long it takes for the effects of a volcano to be felt by us here on the ground, whether it's going to get warmer or colder. And that's what happened then, right? So that's happened about a little over a year ago. And then on top of that, whatever goes up must come down, right? Look at all that water that went up from that volcano. Do you think that maybe there's a correlation between the weather being hot about a year or so after that volcano erupted all that water into the atmosphere, and therefore that water, the water particulates, maybe blocking or not blocking, but intensifying the sun rays coming in because the water didn't go into a level of the atmosphere where it turned into ice? And do you think that maybe there's somewhat of a correlation between all of that water that was spewed into the atmosphere now coming back down because it's been in the atmosphere for a little over a year after that eruption happened? Now, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a geologist. I'm not one of those weather guys, whatever you call them. But to me, it kind of makes sense that instead of saying that, hey, it's your fault that we had a very hot summer, right? Because you're running your SUVs, you're running your generators, right? You're not paying enough in taxes for this global climate change stuff. Instead of saying it's your fault, maybe we ought to question it and say, well, maybe this is why this is happening. Has anyone looked into it? But I'm pretty sure that nobody probably has. Let's see here. Okay. And I think I might have one more thing to talk about here. Let's see if I do, or if it's more than one. Oh, this still has to do with that volcano. And let's go ahead and read a little bit of this to you. It says here, the huge amount of water vapor hurried into the atmosphere as detected by NASA's microwave limb sounder could end up temporarily warming Earth's surface. You understand that, ladies and gentlemen? So when they tell you, hey, we're having record-breaking heat because you drive SUVs, remember this right here. This is coming from them. I didn't write this. When the Hunga Tonga Hunga Hapao volcano erupted on January 15th, so about a year and a half ago, it sent a tsunami race. I'm pretty sure it was like a year and a half ago from this year, right? I think it was last year, but I could be wrong because I'm kind of senile. So if it was early this year, then hot dog, man, it acted pretty quickly. It sent a tsunami racing around the world and set off a sonic boom that circled the globe twice. The underwater eruption in the South Pacific Ocean also blasted an enormous plume of water vapor into the Earth's stratosphere, enough to fill more than 58,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Maybe that's where all this rain is coming from. The sheer amount of water vapor could be enough to temporarily affect Earth's global average temperatures. So when they tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that all of this heat is your fault, go back to this. This is from NASA. We've never seen anything like it, said Luis Milan, an atmospheric scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California. He led a new study examining the amount of water vapor that the Tonga volcano injected into the atmosphere, the layer of the atmosphere between 8 and 33 miles above the Earth's surface. In the study published in Geophysical Research Letters, Milan and his colleagues estimated that the Tonga eruption sent around 146 telegrams of water vapor into Earth's atmosphere, where 1 telegram equals 1 trillion grams. So 146 telegrams, where 1 telegram equals 1 trillion grams. If you want to do the math and turn that into gallons, go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually possible, but I'm not going to do that here. Let's see, equal to about 10% of the water already present in the atmospheric layer. That's nearly 4 times the amount of water vapor that scientists estimate the 1991 Mount Pinatubo eruption in the Philippines lofted into the stratosphere. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're having really big temperatures, or really high temperatures, more than likely because of that occurrence. And I really apologize. I don't remember if that was this year in 2023 that happened or last year. Someone please let me know here in the comments if it was this year or last year. I really don't remember. I'm losing my mind, ladies and gentlemen. But either way, I believe that that's part of what is affecting the weather when it comes to the heat and when it comes to all of these downpours that we've had. Well, Patricia says the government is targeting Republican states with weather modifications. You know what? Maybe 5 years ago, I would have been like, man, you're out of your mind. But man, there's just nothing that is out of the realm of possibilities nowadays. All right, ladies and gentlemen, they're coming out with all of these UFO things now. And in my opinion, I believe that there are extraterrestrial beings that have been around for a long time. How is it that we are the only species in this entire universe that can walk and that can talk and that has some kind of intelligence, that has an IQ, right? But why is it, ladies and gentlemen, that all of a sudden they're coming out with it now? So many news outlets are coming out with, oh, we have UFOs. Oh, they're saying that it's real. Oh, it's declassified now. That Roswell did happen back in the 1940s, I think it was. So they're coming. Why is that? Remember to take a look at their left hand, right? Because right now they're talking about the right hand. They're saying, oh, this UFO stuff. Well, what's going on in the left hand? Take a look at it. I think you'll be able to figure out what it is that they're trying to hide by bringing out this other stuff. Let's see. Let's bring it down a little bit. Okay, so it was last year, Paula. Thank you very much. It happened between December 20th, 21 to 22. Okay, thank you for that. So it was last year, not this year. Okay, so I'm not going as nuts as I thought that I was. Hey, Potato Head, how you doing? Good to see you, Potato Head. Let's see what else we have. Let's see if we can cover anything else here. Let's see if we have any more gloom and doom. Nope, we already did that giveaway. We already did that giveaway. And the last thing that we'll talk about here, ladies and gentlemen, Fitch downgrades the USA's credit rating from AAA to AA. I'm sorry about that. I'm looking this way. Fitch downgrades the U.S. credit rating from AAA to AA plus. What does that mean? I don't have it pulled up right now, but I took a look at all of the countries in the world that have AAA rating, which is pretty much the best rating that you can get. And what this does, bringing us to a AA plus, it's bringing us down to a different tier of countries that have AA plus rating. So the tier of countries that have AA plus rating are not like at the same tier as the United States is, or what we are used to being. Ladies and gentlemen, I've told you a long time ago, and I've said this several times, that I believe that one of the goals of the people that have this agenda against the United States staying a powerful nation is that they make us into a third world country. Now, with our debt only increasing year after year, with our deficits only increasing year after year, with our tax base getting smaller, i.e., our middle class getting smaller, and the government wanting to tax even more, I see that our credit rating is going to decrease more and more, meaning that you can say goodbye to low interest rates. If we ever see low interest rates again, inflation is going to skyrocket even more so than what we've seen it skyrocket in the last 2 to 3 years, ladies and gentlemen. Things are not going back to the way that they used to be. And I'm talking about just the last 4 or 5 years. It's not going back to that way. There are going to be winners and there are going to be losers after this next shift in paradigm occurs. And there's going to be a lot more losers than there are winners. So at the very least, you have to stay prepared. And you have to also consider, if you can, if you're in that part of your life where you can transfer some of your paper wealth into physical wealth in the form of preparations or physical assets that will preserve your purchasing power. Because the USA, I don't believe we will ever again see a AAA rating until after we change over to a new form of governance, i.e. / financial or monetary system, ladies and gentlemen. This is a time that you have to protect yourself. Here they say, credit rating agency Fitch announced on Tuesday that it downgraded the U.S.'s long-term foreign currency issuer default rating to AA plus from AAA because of expected fiscal deterioration, meaning that they don't expect us to get any better anytime soon. Growing debt and the erosion of governance. The one that's the most embarrassing here is the erosion of governance, resulting in a repeated debt limit standoff. Pretty much that we don't have our stuff together and that they don't expect us to keep our stuff together for a very long time. And that's all that I have to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, as far as the news that I missed talking about on Friday's live stream. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you all. So if there's anything that you want to share with the community or anything that you want to talk about, go ahead and put it all in caps so that I can hopefully catch it. I see that F. Pierre is here. F. Pierre, I don't know if you received your coin, but I did mail your coin off early this week. All right, finally. All right, I did mail it off early this week, and I did mail off the coin to all of those winners yesterday. I mailed them all out yesterday, so you should be able to get your coins in the mail sometime this week, hopefully early this week. All right, let's see. Okay. Disabled and Prepping, how you doing? Good to see you. Oh, listen to this. I have a story about this also. Let's see. Commando says, Barf Mart in Waddle, Arizona had 0 live cashiers this morning and only 2 cash self-checkouts. 99% of self-checkouts were card only. Same things happening here. I very, very rarely go to Walmart, and I haven't been there in a really long time. But I did go to Lowe's here the other day, and I was very disappointed because they had 0 cashiers open. 0. They had only the checkouts. And then I got upset. I got visually upset where one of their workers there, because they have 0 cashiers, but at the checkout, they had like 2 people. So I'm like, why can't you guys go and pull a cashier do a line instead of having this. But anyways, I got visually upset at one of the cashiers there. I wasn't mean, but they came up to me and said, "Is everything all right?" Because while I was doing my self checkout for the little hinges or whatever it is that I got, I noticed that there is a recording of me right there in front of me. So there's a screen in front of me showing myself saying you are being recorded. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. You guys record everyone just because they're here checking out when you don't have any cashiers available. And the lady goes, well, everyone else is doing it. Other stores are doing this also. I'm like, that doesn't make it right, does it? And then she got snappy with me. She said, well, we're short on cashiers. If you like to apply for a job as a cashier, we're taking applications. And I said, I don't want to work here. I said, number one. And number two, the reason this is upsetting is because you shouldn't be recording anyone, number one. I said, and I'm trying to save your job. I'm trying to save your job so that there can be cashiers, so that there can be that human connection, and there will be an extra job, somebody in that actual cashier line. But yeah, what upset me the most was not that I had to do a self-checkout because there was no cashiers, because we're pretty much all used to that now. Whenever I go somewhere, I try to do not a self-checkout, but to an actual cashier, even if I have to wait. But that they're recording you, blatantly recording you right there. I'm like, man, this is just so wrong. But it gets to the point where most mom and pop shops are gone. And that is what made me go to Spinards. That is what made me go to the Ace Hardware. And that's where I'm going to go to from now on. Unless I need to get lumber or something like that, I'm going to go to Spinards all the time. It's a bit of a longer trip, but sometimes it's just muscle memory. I'm so used to going to Lowe's so much. I built my house pretty much from Lowe's, right? I'm used to going there so much that you forget about the little mom and pop shops. But I'm going to make it a conscious effort that every time I need something, either small or big, as long as it's not lumber, because they don't sell lumber, I'm going to go to Spinards, the Ace Hardware store. Hopefully that'll start to make a difference. And I invite any of you that have a small hardware store like that in your home, and if you need something small, instead of stopping at one of these big box stores first, stop at Spinards, or stop at an Ace Hardware store, or stop at a local mom and shop hardware store that's near you, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we're going to be able to make a difference little by little. I've actually been working with this company, ladies and gentlemen, for like the last 7 months, right? And I haven't talked about it, and I'm not going to mention their name or nothing like that, because I told myself I was going to work with them for like 9 months to a year to see if it's actually viable. But everything that they sell is made here in the U.S., is sourced here in the U.S. Like 98% of the stuff that they sell is made here in the U.S. and sourced here in the U.S. It's not like they say, well, it's made here in the U.S., but they get their parts and everything from somewhere else. No, everything is from here in the U.S., 98%. And the reason that it's 98% is because they sell coffee, but the coffee comes from Colombia, but the land in Colombia is owned by them. And they do sell makeup and stuff like that comes from Canada. But anyways, everything that they sell is made in the U.S. And it's a way to take a small chunk out of all of the big corporations, out of the Costco's, out of the Walmarts, out of the Sam's Clubs. I'm not saying that you'll be able to just leave Costco altogether. No, you can still go to Costco, but maybe don't buy this item there that you can buy here from this company that doesn't have to adhere to ESG ratings, that doesn't have to be traded publicly and play the rules of the globalists that pretty much have their hands in the stock market and in the companies that are traded in the stock market. But anyways, I've been working with this company for a pretty long time, like 6 or 7 months. And I said, before I even introduce this to anyone, I'm going to do this for close to a year to see how my experience is, to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. But so far, man, I'll tell you what, I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with it. And eventually I'll talk about it and let you all know about it, because I think it's by invitation only. But I really like the fact that everything that they make is super high quality and that it's made here in the United States. But I just want to make sure that it's on the up and up before I say anything about it to anyone or introduce it to someone. Tom Larson, how you doing? Good to see you. King Kong is in the house. How you doing? Good to see you. Pat Riot, how are you? Kevin Shaw. Let's see. Love and Blessings, how are you? Good to see you. D. Foley. Okay. Halvin Johnson. Yeah. U.S. Treasury says that Fitch is lying. Of course they do. Of course they do, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we can get into so much on the U.S. Treasury, on the Federal Reserve and stuff that we would be here for hours. Carol D., how are you? Edward Petters says, canned cow farts will be a collector's item. Mark my words. Man, I hope not. I hope not, because I truly do like those cows. They taste very good. Emmanuel Bravo, how are you doing? Thank you, Emmanuel. Yeah, absolutely, Denali, dude. I agree 100%. Unfortunately, there was zero cashiers that day. That's one of the things that kind of upset me. Zero cashiers, and then on top of that, to be recorded. It's like, man, not only am I doing the job that somebody else could be doing and getting paid for it, but on top of that, you have to treat me like a criminal by recording my every single move. But we that is what's going to happen. We will see those days where there are no people in the stores. There are going to be robots in the stores, ladies and gentlemen, that are going to be powered by AI. And you will have a wallet, an electronic wallet on your phone, right? And that's why we are preparing now, so that we can get through that time, so that we can use our no muscle. But eventually we will have to become accustomed to those systems, because they will be implemented. And it's going to be years before we get off of them, because it's going to take years before people realize that they've been hoodwinked, and that system that they told them that they are overlords told them was a good system for everyone ended up being a good system, but only for them and not for us, we the people. So we're going to have to get through it. But the better that you prepare now, the better off that you're going to be come what may. And what may come is what I believe will come, which is that digital system that they're going to push us into. Not that I want it to happen, but I believe that it will happen. Yeah, I agree, JT. Soon we will not have a place to use cash. Not good for saving up. Yeah, and with that digital wallet being that it's programmable, they're going to limit how much of your digital credits you'll be able to save. They might limit it to 20,000 credits, or to whatever they want to limit it to. They'll be able to limit it to. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. If we can just spread the word, if we can just talk about this with people that we know. I was at the coin shop the other day, and there was a young man there looking at old federal notes, right? Confederate notes, right? They were collector's items. So I started talking to him. I stopped by because I was in town, and I was like, hey, let me stop by and see the guys. I wasn't there to buy anything. But I started talking to him, and we had like a 45-minute conversation. And I started talking to him about silver. I told him, get the book, Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffith. We started talking about the monetary system, fiat currency. He knew nothing about this stuff that I was talking to him about. And I asked him, do they teach this in high school? And he said, nope, none of it. So once before I left, I asked him, I said, are you going to do your research on this stuff? And he says, absolutely. And I ended up gifting him an ounce of silver, because I found out that he didn't own any silver. And I love being the first person to give someone their first ounce of silver. That doesn't mean that 1,000 of you can say, hey, can I get my first ounce of silver, right? I got you before you asked. But if you could ever do that, if you have silver already and you can afford to gift someone their first ounce of silver, man, it's an awesome thing. Because when they hold it, I took the silver coin out of the sleeve that came in. I said, now hold that. I said, that's real money. And you can just feel it. That's God's money, ladies and gentlemen. God put it here for us to use as money. That's why God put silver and gold here, particularly gold more than silver, because silver nowadays is something that we actually need in order to sustain the type of lifestyle that we've become accustomed to, i.e., with all of the manufacturing uses that silver has, and technological uses, and pharmaceutical uses, and medical uses. Without silver, we would go back to the 1800s as far as our standard of living. So, but anyways, God put those metals on the earth so that we can use them as a way to transfer wealth from one person to the other. And not this. God did not put this on the earth, ladies and gentlemen. This is the silver and gold. This right here. This is the silver and gold that the money changers will be throwing onto the streets. That's what that is. That is what I believe is meant in the Bible. And they say one day people will be throwing their silver and gold onto the streets. One day those money changers, those evildoers, we'll do a Bush Jr., those evildoers, one day they will take the money that they created instead of using God's money. They will take that money that they created, that they put their lives into. They will take that money and throw it into the street because it will be worth less. It will be worthless. They'll be thrown into the street. And we will one day go back to sound money, to real money, to the money that got put here for us to use to transfer wealth from one another. Okay, let's bring it down a little bit. Raven in the desert, how are you doing? Yes, Raven in the desert, prices keep going up and up. We have to do our own bagging. Yep, that's the truth. That's the new reality. I told you a long time ago, when we were in the middle of this high inflation that we've been seeing for the last few years, it's not going back down. They keep saying inflation is going down. Inflation is transitory. Inflation is the rate of inflation may be going down, but prices are still going up, ladies and gentlemen. Prices will always go up, always, and inflation will always be. Inflation will always be as long as we live in a system that is governed by fiat currency. There has to be inflation in order for a fiat currency system to stay in existence, to be able to continue to work. There has to be inflation. And unfortunately, inflation is a tool that is used to steal your wealth. That's all that it is. All right, let's see. I'm just going down and looking. Look at that. A9 is in the house. How you doing, A9? Good to see you, my friend. Laura W., how are you? Good to see you. Paul Davis is here. D. Foley. Well, D. Foley, I will say your name again, D. Foley. Welcome. Thank you for being here, by the way. Let's see. Who else do we have in the house? Jaw Raw is in the house. And I'm not sure if you all follow Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall, y'all. That guy is awesome. He's like a weatherman on YouTube. YouTube is a wonderful thing if you use it, ladies and gentlemen. If you use it for the right things, right? It's a wonderful thing because you can actually take your passion and turn it into something where you can actually make a living doing it, right? And Ryan Hall, he's like a weather guy, but he does it on YouTube, and he's very good. And he's pretty much saying that we are going to have a very wet winter because it's going to be warm. There's going to be a lot of warm air in the northern hemisphere. There's going to be a lot of warm air because of, I believe it's El Nino. We are going into El Nino, which is a warmer weather pattern. And in addition to that, all of the atmospheric rain that is occurring because of that, of the volcano. I forgot the name of it. I just talked about it. But because of all of the wetness in the atmosphere, we're going to have a lot of snow, which is bad news for us here in Alaska, at least. So it's going to be a rough winter. So get prepared now. Get your generators, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have one, get one now. It doesn't matter where you get it. At least get one that will run your heating system, right? Get a backup heating system if you can, right? But get something now that it is available, because when the power goes out, they are going to be cleaned out from the shelves wherever it is that you live. All right, so get them now. Let's see. Okay, bringing it down some. Where are we at? We're at 1 hour and 18 minutes. I need to take a sip. Excuse me. Yeah, I agree, Linda. Linda says they will probably allow you a lot of credits. Then after a while, they will push the button to take your excess credit away from you. Think about that. I believe that, well, the money can be programmable and they can do whatever they want on an individual case. But I don't think that they'll start doing their nefarious actions until after cash is gone. Right? First, they're going to issue you your CBDC. Everything is going to be great. There's going to be a CBDC and there's going to be cash. Everything's going to be great. People are going to be very happy with their CBDCs. They're going to give you free credits. They're going to give you free CBDCs, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what I'm going to do with mine? Yeah, I'm going to take mine. You know what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to buy precious metals with it. I'm going to do something with it that's going to actually give me wealth instead of playing to theirs. Use their system against them. I'm going to buy precious metals with mine. All right. And then when everyone's happy with their CBDCs and everything's working great, they're going to take away cash. They're going to come up with a reason to take away cash. And then that's when the fun starts for them, not for us, That's when the fun starts for them, right? And that's when they're going to be able to program whatever credits you have. They're going to be able to add an expiration date to whatever credits you have in there, dollars, whatever they want to call it. They'll be able to do it whatever they want. If you get out of line and say something on mainstream media or on social media or maybe near a camera somewhere that they don't like, they'll be able to individually shut you off if they want to. They'll be able to demonetize your life. That's when the fun will begin for them. And I'm sure that they can't wait. Yeah, Terry, we just talked about that here earlier during this live. Yes. Let's see. Okay. King Kong asks, what's your favorite Alaska city and why? I haven't been to many places, but the places I've been to have been very nice. Ninilchik is a very nice little coastal city. The people there are really nice. But let me tell you why I love Fairbanks, and it's my favorite Alaska city. Obviously, I live right north of Fairbanks, but Fairbanks, the people here are awesome, right? The people here will stop and help you. I'm not saying that it doesn't have its problems. Sure, there's crime here, there's crime there, there's a shooting here, there's a shooting there, etc., etc. But the people here, for the most part, are awesome. I love living here. I'm close enough to all of the amenities where I can go to Costco whenever I want. But if the SHTF happens and it turns into Mad Max, I'm positioned and my family's positioned far enough from where the mayhem would be, where we should be okay. And it's a very defendable position. I love the weather, even though the winters are a little bit long. I like them because it's what keeps what I like to call the riffraff out of here. Meaning that if you move up here and you can make it through 2 or 3 winters and you're still here, you belong here. If you move up here and after the first winter, you're like, hey, this is not for me, then, hey, okay, thank you very much for coming and trying the lifestyle. But if it's not for you, it's not for you. All right, so most people don't tend to stay if they can't handle the weather, the winters. But I love this area. I love the non-winter months. It's just very beautiful. And we're positioned in a place in Alaska where you can go pretty much any direction, north, south, east, and west, and you can find something to do that's adventurous and something to do where it can actually help you sustain your family. If you need to sustain your family, i.e. hunting, water gathering, foraging, berry picking, all that kind of stuff, right? So you can do a lot of that stuff from right here where I am. Do I do that much? Not very much at all, because, ladies and gentlemen, these old bones, I can harvest a moose, but it's rucking it out of the bush that I can do, right? So, anyways, that's why I love living here, and this is my favorite place in Alaska that I've been to so far. But I have to say that Ninilchik, which is way south of here, it's like 10 hours away from here. It is a very beautiful town. It's a little coastal town. It's where I went when we went halibut fishing. Yeah, there you go. Jaw Raw says Ryan Hall is great. He's a really good guy too. I really like that. What is it? Ryan Hall, y'all or something like that. Go look him up if you can. He's got a great channel. Really, really good guy. Let's see. Steve. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Thank you, Steve. Blessings to you as well. Thank you. Now, that is a great Christmas gift, Tanya. A generator. And it sounds like you either got the Furman or you got I forgot the name of the other one that they sell at Costco, at least up here. Let's see, Paula, you didn't see our new coins? And I know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still thinking about selling these, but I think that I'm going to end up. I'll let you know during our next live stream what I'm going to do with these coins. I've had a lot of people ask me. I think I'm going to end up doing the super chat thing, and whatever proceeds are made from the super chats for these coins, I'm going to go ahead and use that money towards the turkeys for this Thanksgiving for the food bank. But let me see if you can see them. If you can see the coin. So I'm not sure that you can see it that good, but that's what one side looks like. That right there is a moose. That's a moose, and it says 999 silver, and it says 1/10 of an ounce. And then the opposite side, I'm not sure if I have it right side up or not, but the opposite side says Alaska Prepper, and then in the bottom of it, it says 2023. And then that's the state of Alaska. All right. So what I'm thinking about doing with those to raise some money for the food bank this year for the turkeys, because I want to go for about 200 turkeys this year, ladies and gentlemen. That's just a big order to fill. Is probably starting next month in September. Probably for every like $5 or $10 super chat that I receive, I'm gonna go ahead and you'll be entered for a drawing to win an Alaska Prepper coin, silver coin, right? Pure silver coin. And then I'll probably do like 10% of all the entries and we'll give them away towards the end of the month. And I'll take all of those super chat proceeds and put them towards buying turkeys for the food bank. But a lot of people have asked me, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm probably starting a little bit late, being that I'm going to start next month in September. But it is what it is. God will provide. I believe that 100%. Oh, Laura asked me, AP, aside from Alaska, where have you lived in your life? Man, I lived in a lot of places. I was raised in New York. So I was born in Dominican Republic, and I immigrated here when I was 3 years old to New York. I came in via LaGuardia Airport, New York City, and I was raised in New York. As soon as I graduated from high school, so the 6 days after I graduated from high school, I left New York, right? And I never been back on a permanent basis. I've been back a few times to visit, but I left New York. I moved to Florida. I lived in Florida for about a year and a half. After which I got bored with just working every day. And then I joined the Navy. Spent 4 years in the Navy, which is where I met Mrs. Alaska Prepper. And we had Victor shortly, a couple of years after we were married. And then after the Navy, got out. We went to Michigan, lived there for about 10 or 12 years. I realized that I really didn't want to work in the dairy industry for the rest of my life, which was a good move because they ended up going out of business in that area not too many years after I left. So I joined the Army. I spent several years in the Army until I retired. And then here I am now. While I was in the Army, I was in many places. I was in, Fort Bragg. I was in Oklahoma. Georgia, Fort Benning, Georgia. I spent some time in Louisiana. I spent some time in Washington State. And Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I think that might be it. So I've been in a lot of places. Obviously, I've been to the Philippines when I was in the Navy. I've been to Japan as well when I was in the Navy and when I was in the Army. And I've been to Puerto Rico, Vieques Island, Puerto Rico. Big controversy over that. Evita Cooks is in the house. How you doing, Evita? JR, how you doing? You guys are really late. You know that, Evita? It's all right. This was a impromptu live stream that I'm doing here. Marvy, how you doing, Marvy? Let's see. Oh, this is a great question. Becky Eastwood asks, do you think that a natural gas backup generator would be worthwhile, such as a Generic? That's the other one that Costco sells, Generic. So instead of getting a single gas generator, like a generator that would only work on backup gas. Oh, you mean gas, like gasoline? I would rather get a generator that has either dual or tri-fuel. The Generic, from what I understand, is a very good generator, right? But it's only a gasoline generator. If that's the only one you can get, then absolutely, I would get one. I would rather get a dual fuel generator, like the one they sell at Costco. The other brand is the Furman. I own one of those, and I really like it. It's always done well for me. And it's a tri-fuel generator that runs on gasoline or propane or natural gas. So I would rather do that because it gives you more options on things that you can store. I like that it has propane because propane will pretty much last forever. As long as the cylinder where you're storing your propane is not compromised, then that propane in there will last forever and you don't have to worry about treating it with Sta-Bil or anything like that for gasoline. So I would rather have a dual fuel that will give me the option for running on gasoline or propane, right? And if you can get natural gas too, like that tri-fuel that they sell at Costco, that's just a bonus right there. Wow, how is that? Heroes Unknown. Man, you know what? I just talked about this earlier today that I have fallen off of YouTube's algorithm, right? So, AAP, did you see my message about the shadow bans on prepper channels on YouTube? And I'm not sure if you've been here, Heroes Unknown, since the beginning of the live stream. I think you have, but I talked about that how my channel has lost favor with the YouTube algorithm because man, I'm like my views are nothing compared to what they used to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and do a little groveling, okay? If you appreciate the videos that I put out, please give them a like, number one, and also please share them, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe because that really helps with the YouTube algorithm. It helps to tell them, hey, I want you to push this out to more people because people find interest. And one of the things that helps the most, right? Actually, two of the things that help the most is number one, let the video play all the way through, right? My videos, usually about halfway through, people stop watching them. I understand I'm kind of a boring guy, and I understand that. But I do believe that my message is important, and it's important for people to hear, especially those people that have not started preparing yet. I think it's important enough for you to allow it to play all the way through. Even if you just put it on mute and walk away and get a coffee, that really helps the algorithm. Another thing that helps the algorithm and also helps me, ladies and gentlemen, is if you let an ad or two run through. So if you let a 15-second or a 30-second ad run through, YouTube likes that. Why? Because they put ads in your videos because they make money off of the ads. Yes, I make money too, but YouTube makes a lot of money, just almost just as much money. I think they keep 45%. So YouTube keeps, I believe it's like 45% of the ad revenue, right? So they like that you go and look through the ads. So if you do that, they will push my videos out to more people as well. So if you want to help out, not only me, but help the word get out to more people so that more people can be introduced to prepping, the better. And thank you very much for letting me know that, Heroes Unknown. I don't keep up with that stuff. So no, I didn't know that YouTube was doing that. All I knew is that, hey, something's going on here because things aren't the same like they used to be before as far as my videos being pushed out. In the background of YouTube, like in the backstage, the parts that you all don't see, I can see how YouTube is recommending my videos to how many people and how many people are clicking on it and stuff like that. It's what allows us to change things to like the thumbnails and to the titles and stuff like that. That's why some people are like, why are your thumbnails so clickbaity? Well, it's because the algorithm likes that. The algorithm likes that. So if you get someone to click on your video because it's got a thumbnail that may be a little bit clickbaity or alarmist, and then they get the message that you're trying to put out and they've never been to your channel before, they're like, hey man, this kind of makes sense. Maybe I'll start watching a few other prepper channels in addition to this one so that I can see, maybe how I can get better prepared. And what that does is it doesn't only help me, but it helps the entire YouTube prepping community. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I said this once, I think during our last live stream, and I'll say it again. We need to get City Prepping to 1 million subscribers. He's at like 936,000, but we need to get him to 1 million because the sooner that City Prepping gets to 1 million, the better that it is for the prepping community as a whole on YouTube. Because once a channel gets to 1 million, YouTube just recommends them to a whole bunch of other people that never watched that content before. And people that start watching his content, because YouTube's now recommending them to his content, will also be recommended content from other preparedness channels. So let's go over to City Prepping, give him a subscribe, watch a few of his videos. I don't agree with everything that he says, but I'm sure that he doesn't agree with everything that I say. But City Prepping is a really smart guy, very smart guy, and he puts out very good thought-provoking videos. So go check him out and give him a subscription if you don't mind. And you do not have to say anything about that I sent you. This has nothing to do about, hey, AP sent me. No, this is just about you supporting the prepping community here on YouTube so that we can get the word out to more people. It's going to take a lot of us to come together when we finally start to transition over to a new system, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just hoping to the good Lord that our new system will be one that's fair and just instead of a system like the one that we have right now. Look at that. Is this a hint? Is this a wink, wink? Can I do that wink, wink? Jan? Oh, look at that. Jen put me on the spot. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to send every one of my mods one of those new coins. You got me, Jan. How you doing, Steve Gray? Good to see you, brother. Forrest, I don't think I said hello to you. Let's see. Oh, thank you very much. Maybe I'll keep that in mind, Emmanuel. That's awesome. Second, I'm trying to look for something else, ladies and gentlemen. Boss Hog, where was I at in Louisiana? I was at JRTC, the worst place in the. Is it JRTC? Yeah, Fort Polk. Fort Polk, the worst place in the world. Hey, King Kong, all the way, brother. I was at Fort Bragg, nowhere's near the time you were there. I was there between 2006, I think, and 2009, something like that. Yeah, all the way. I love saying. Do you still remember the songs that they played during PT? Put on your boots, boots, boots. I will never forget those songs. I actually sing that song to Michael when I'm playing with him. Put on your boots, 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 and parachutes, shoot, shoots. Yeah, I was there during that time. I was part of the first of the 508th Infantry Regiment. Okay, all right, all right. I am going down. Where are we at? Man, we're going for a marathon live stream today. Oh, yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Colorado Prepper or Pack Drop Prepper. Yes, comments do help. And look at that. Heroes Unknown says that other channels are still not showing up in the feed. And now that I think about it, well, I really don't watch a lot. I'm subscribed to a whole bunch of prepping channels, a lot of them. Like pretty much all the prepping channels that I know about, I'm subscribed to them. Even some where the people there don't like me, just because I think that we need to support each other. Period. But I don't really watch them all the time because I don't like to watch a lot of prepping news. I think it messes up with my creativity, number one, and also it stresses me out, right? Because too much bad news is not good news. I try to bring you all realistic stuff that's going on instead of bad news that you can't do anything about, right? So if I come to you like I came to you back in November and told you all, hey, the price of rice is going to double in 2023. I believe it was back in November of last year that I came out with that video. Well, go take a look at the price of rice, and then you let me know if that's come to be or not, or if it's going to come to be by the end of this year. I would say that it will. So actionable intel, things like that is what I like to cover. Every once in a while, I will put a video out there like about my diabetes or just me chit chatting with you, showing you the chicken coop or a little project that I've got going or a review. That really don't have anything to do with actionable intel, but that's just me bringing the personal part of my life into the channel, which I think it's important because we've been together here, ladies and gentlemen, for so long that you're kind of like my extended family. So I will be so happy to do a video and show you when I get my first egg from one of my ladies, from one of my chickens. It's going to be so awesome, So little things like that I love to share with you all because, like I said, we've kind of like become somewhat of an extended family, us here on this community. Okay, let's see. Thank you very much, Laura. Thank you. That really does help. And that does help a lot. Those ad revenue helps. It's what allows me to do a lot of the things that I do throughout the year. Okay. I do not like asking people for like, hey, can you donate to this PayPal or buy me a coffee? I had a buy me a coffee account. I still do. And the link is still out there somewhere because I average about $3 every other week or so. Someone will send me a $3 coffee, but it's out there. And I mean, I don't mind leaving it out there. It's not because, I'm not like getting hundreds of dollars from there. Not at all. I maybe average $3 or a coffee every other week or so. So that's fine. But that money I still put toward, buying stuff for the food bank. And it's very important to me, ladies and gentlemen, that I do that. Let me tell you, for those of you that are new here, I think that when when we are in need, that the first people that we ought to go to when we are in need is our family. So family should take care of family first. So if something were to happen to me, my family, immediate family, should be the ones that are there to take care of me first, right? Then after that, it should be your church. Then after that, it should be your community. And then I don't think it ought to go outside of your community. I think that those three branches, those three safety branches, should be it. Should be able to handle whatever circumstances may arise, right? In the days that we live, we do have the option to go to the state and or to the federal government. But I think that if we cut off the state and the federal government from our needs, from when we need help, if we cut them off from that, eventually they won't be able to dictate to us what we can and can't do, because we are beholden to their handout that they've taken from someone else to give to us. So that's why I think that charity starts at the family level, at the church, and then community. It's very important to me that I take care of my community. And I recommend that every one of you, if you have a community food bank, if you have a charitable place where you live in and around the area that you live, maybe they take care of the homeless. Maybe they have a shelter. Maybe they have a battered women's shelter. Maybe they have a shelter like the one that I go to, RCPC, the Resource Center for Parents and Children, where they help parents and children, where they feed kids if they come in hungry, pretty much any time of the day, right? If they have something like that, look for it and help them if you can, right? Because in helping within your community, you're only helping yourself in the long run, right? So I believe in that an awful lot because of that. Let's see. Faye Patterson, thank you very much, Faye. It's good to see you. Subscribers here, but can't chat, says I'm not. I don't know what you mean. Help, subscriber here, but can't chat, says I'm not. Well, Faye, it let you do a super chat, so I'm not sure why it's not letting you actually chat within the chats. I know that if your privacy settings on your account is not set to public, it won't let you chat regularly. So check that and see. But you're definitely not blocked. Okay, let's see. Bringing it down some. All right, I'm just looking for any questions, ladies and gentlemen. I know we're getting here close to the 2-hour mark. Hey, thank you, doggone it. Thank you for that. I truly do appreciate the help. Thank you. Crypto King is in the house. Crypto King, how you doing? Good to see you. Crypto King, how's it going over there in Japan? How's the inflation over there in Japan if you're still there? Let's see. Okay, yeah, maybe it's this, Faye. Maybe it's because we are on a 45-second delay. And let me explain to that. Let me explain that to those of you that maybe don't understand why there's a 45-second delay between the time that that you can type a chat and then type the next one. The reason I do that is because we want to keep the show family friendly, and that gives our moderators enough time to check the comments that are being left and to take out any comments that may not be family friendly. It's very important that our content stays family friendly. I don't, trust me, I cuss, right? I mean, I'm not like a sailor cusser, but I cuss now and then. I mean, I cut myself and I'll cuss or something. But the reason he is here is because we want to make sure that we are an influence on the younger kids, on young kids. And there are parents that actually let their kids watch the show. All right. So, just a second, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, just a second, brother. All right, just a second, man. And there are parents that let kids watch the show. And we want to make sure that we continue to enable those parents to let their children watch prepping shows. That way they can understand what preparedness is, and they can be comfortable with doing it, you know, and become little preppers. That way they can become grown-up preppers later on. Just a second. Let me tell my friend here that I'm doing a live stream. He can't be that good of a friend because he's not watching my live stream right now. Hey, did you hear that? Just a second. Hey, I'm gonna be done in about 20 minutes. Can I call you back? All right, in about 20 minutes. All right, I'll be done. All right, bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. That's actually my good friend. Let's see. I forgot what I was saying. Let's see. Okay, Crypto King says, AP, my rent for my apartment is $400 a month. Wow, that is awesome. What size apartment is that, brother? Let's see. Commando asks, can you see the Aurora Northern Lights up there? Absolutely, we can see them. On a clear night, of course. We definitely won't be able to see anything tonight. And we can't see them during the summer months because we don't have any night time. It's pretty much not dark at all during the summer months. So now we're starting to get a little bit of darkness come back because we already breached or passed the summer solstice. So we'll be losing a few minutes of daylight every day until the winter solstice, where we'll start adding daylight back. But we won't start being able to see the aurora probably till about, I don't know, September, October's time frame is when it starts getting dark, where it's visibly dark, where you like need headlights on your vehicles on in order to drive at night. Emmanuel, yes, Papi and the birds are fine, and the chicken are fine. They're getting big. The chickens are getting big. The hens, they're getting pretty big, and they're eating. They are so funny. I'll go out there. I actually have some scraps. I was eating some brisket earlier before the live stream, and I have some scraps of just nothing but pure fat. They love that stuff. And I'll go out there and throw like one piece, and I'll watch them fight over it. And then I'll throw the rest. It's just so funny because usually one chicken will grab the piece that I throw and it'll start running around, trying to peck at it as it's running around because it doesn't want to share with anyone else. And then the other chickens will just be following it around. But Papi is a good rooster. He is a good protector of them. Let's see. I'm looking. Okay. There you go. Rex says that the best months to look at the Aurora Borealis are October and March. I just look at them out here whenever I have the chance. I'm not a late bird. I usually go to bed pretty early. So usually if I get up to go to the bathroom or something, I'll peek out the window and I'll see it, and then I'll go outside and look at it. But yeah, whenever we do see it, it's very, very pretty. It really is. Yeah, I can do a video one of these days when I'm out there in front of the chicken coop and then show me feeding them. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Let's see. Okay, so let's bring it up. It looks like we might be getting close to the end here. I can prep too. How are you doing? That's okay that you're a little bit late. It's no big deal. You can always hit the rewind. Let's see. Okay, let me look if I missed anything. King Kong, no, I'm not on LinkedIn. I'm not on anything. The only other social media outlets that I'm on Rumble. I post there very, very infrequently. I should do a posting there all the time, but man, it just takes such a long time for my stuff to upload from this computer. So I post there very infrequently. I'm on Rumble. I think I'm on Odyssey. I don't even remember, right? But I know that I'm on Rumble. I'm here. I've got a Patreon page, and I've got a Ladies and Gentlemen's Club, obviously. But that's about it. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Del Coffee asked about Rumble. You know what? Maybe one of these days, if I can figure out a way to put my videos to sync into Rumble at the same time that I upload them here on YouTube without it costing me more data, then I'll try to figure that out so that I can be on Rumble also. The thing is that with where I live here, the only way that I have data, that I have internet, is by using my phone. My phone's hotspot. That is the only way I can get internet out here. And being that it's a phone plan, I'm only limited to like 50 gigabytes of internet per month for my hotspot. So I have a total of about 100, but that's just really not that many bytes when you're talking about uploading 720 or higher videos. You know, 720 is actually like pretty low resolution for nowadays. Nowadays, I think like 1080 is probably the minimum you should be uploading. But every once in a while, I have no choice but to upload a video in 720 because it's so many gigabytes that it would take forever for me to upload it. And it would take so much data for me to upload it. Let's take a look. Okay, bringing it down some. Yes, thank you for saying that, Linda. Thank you to all of our moderators. I'm not sure if you all know, ladies and gentlemen, but our mods have been here for a while. My OG mod, so my original gangster moderator is JT, meaning that JT's been with me the longest. And if I remember right, JT, I think you've been with me from less than 50 subscribers. And if I remember right, it's less than 30 that you've been with me. So JT's been here pretty much since the beginning. JT saw me do my very first giveaway, which was a 1 ounce silver coin when I reached 100 subscribers. And that was to someone who lived in Germany. I forget her name, but it was a lady who lived in Germany. And it ended up costing me more to ship the coin to Germany than what I paid for the coin at that time. So that's how long JT has been with me. And then we've got Jan, we've got Yarn Prepper, and of course we've got Copernicus, who is known by you as Miss Worm. But when she first came on here, she was Copernicus, so that's what I still call her. So yeah, our moderators are awesome, and I don't have to say this, but the ladies know that I do love them and that they're like part of my family as well. Okay, cool. Yeah, man, I'll give you a call and we can just chat. All right, we can just chat. All right, I actually have your card right here in my pocket right now, so I do have your card. Let's see. Sunset Gazing asks, AP, are you still posting your Tuesday walkabouts for diabetes? Actually, not every Tuesday because I just run out of things to talk about. There's only so many ways that you can show how you cook your meat and stuff. But I am posting a video tomorrow that is part of that series. It's going to be episode 10 of Reversing Diabetes with Ketovore and Carnivore. It's going to be my episode 10. I'm going to be going over my blood work, and I'm going to be going over an awesome article of not really an article, but of a study that they just conducted on meat eating. So I'm going to put that out tonight for my Patreons and club members, and then I'll be putting it out tomorrow on Monday for everyone else to share. But don't miss that one because it's pretty awesome. I'm glad to say that my blood work came back great. I actually talked about it during one of my previous videos, but it was towards the end of that video, and many people, I'm sure, did not see it. So since people kept asking me about it, I decided to do a standalone video and also integrate that study that was conducted on me. And you'll be surprised when you listen to it. It's pretty interesting. All right, so Crypto King says, AP, my apartment is 30.65 meters squared. So it's about roughly 100 by 100 feet meters square. That's a big apartment because a meter squared. No. A meter is 3.3 feet. So I'm not even going to try to figure it out. You guys in Japan have got to mess things up. What can you do square footage? I will mess with it. Remember, associate's degree in general education, right? The floor plan is basically 3 sections that are the same size. First space is where my kitchen, shower, and toilet is. So it's pretty much what you need. Okay? Awesome, man. Hey, Kitsy. All right, don't start this, Kitsy. All right, I'm gonna send my mods a coin each. All right, I don't want 100 of you saying send your mods a coin. Here we go. Send JT a coin. All right, I already told you I'm gonna send them a coin. Okay, Commando asks, what coffee brands and flavors are you storing there on the wall behind you? That is not coffee. All right, so there is one coffee over here. That's Nutrient Survival. It is a spray dried coffee, but it's also freeze dried. And this coffee is awesome. For those of you that have not checked out Nutrient Survival, because I know we have a lot of new community members, go check out Nutrient Survival. They have the very best long-term food storage, the most nutrient-dense food you're going to get, period. And compare it. Compare it to other long-term food storage and compare the nutrition. You're not going to find anything better, ladies and gentlemen, than Nutrient Survival. You're really not. It is literally the best and most nutrient-dense food. If you are diabetic, they only have a few options for diabetics. They have your eggs that you can have because it doesn't have any sugars, and they also have all of your nutrients, your liquid nutrients, like this right here, Immune Boost, which keeps you from getting sick, and also your liquid nutrient that has pretty much all of the vitamins and minerals that you need on an everyday basis. And they also have a couple of shakes that I don't have one here, but they have a couple of shakes that are actually pretty good. They also have a berry blend that's a liquid nutrient, which tastes really good. But anyways, go check out Nutrient Survival. If you check them out, use my link and use my code for 10% off. It helps the channel, but not just because of that, but because it truly is the very best and most nutrient-dense freeze-dried food in the market. Right? But this coffee here, if you try this coffee, you'll be a fan. This coffee is awesome. Right? And it does have a long shelf life, but it tastes great. And it comes with all the nutrients as well. Gusho, AP, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in January. I started to take the berberine. I'm guessing that the berberine is a medication, if I am right. I don't know if I am or not. Gusho, I have to tell you my honest opinion on that. I am living proof, and please watch the video that I put out tomorrow. Unless you're on my Patreon or members club, you'll have it tonight. I am living proof that if you're a type 2 diabetic, that you can reverse your diabetes with diet. I am living proof. All right, 100%. So, in my opinion, I would rather change my diet for the rest of my life than to have to be hooked, for lack of better words, to a pharmaceutical drug. I would rather just change my diet for the rest of my life than to have to be dependent on some kind of pharmaceutical drug that can be pulled out from under you anytime by whatever manufacturer makes it or whatever country provides it to us. But more so, I believe that you have a much better quality of life if you do it with diet than if you do it with pharmaceuticals. But everyone's different. You have to do your own research. All I know is that if I were you, my opinion 100%, I would at least try going on a very low carbohydrate diet, i.e. ketovore / or carnivore diet. It's worked wonders for me, man. It's worked wonders for me. I would recommend it to anyone if I could recommend it if I were a doctor. And there are many doctors that do recommend a ketovore / carnivore diet to people that are type 2 and type 1 diabetics as well. So just look into it. Do a little bit of research on that. Let's see. Okay. Let's bring it down some. Okay. All right. Hey, is that what it is? Sumi, thank you. 330 square feet. You know, that's really not a bad price for 330 square feet. I mean, my bunker is about 121 square feet. So it's roughly 3 times the size of my bunker. And my bunker's got a pretty good amount of space. So yeah, that's actually pretty darn good. Have a great week, Kitsy. I hope that I caught you before you left. Thank you. Have a great week. Well, today is Sunday, so maybe we ought to be closing it up here pretty soon. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Gusho. Thank you for letting me know that. Berberine is a natural herb reversed with diet and berberine. Yes, awesome. Well, that is great news. I am very happy to hear that. Very happy to hear that. That berberine is an herb and not a pharmaceutical. Awesome. Let's see. What do we have to do? Let me see. Cloud Jumper says, Rudy, as a senior nurse in general practice, I approve your efforts. Yes, diabetes can be reversed. You have to do the work in lifestyle changes, and you can do it, folks. That's awesome. Thank you for letting us know that, because I'll tell you what, my experience with it has been really, really good. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? We're going to have to go ahead. Yes. I know, Linda. I have to call my friend back. His name's Adam. I got to call him back. All right. So let's go ahead and close and look at that. We're just shy of 2 hours. I'm very happy that I did this live stream because I had a lot of fun with you all today. I hope you all got something out of it. If anything, that you got to do a little bit of fellowship with me and everyone else that was during the chat. So thank you for joining in, ladies and gentlemen. If you are new to the live stream, or if you've subscribed just within the last couple of weeks or so, go ahead and put "I am new" in all caps. And during our outro, we'll go ahead and shout you out so you can see your name on the screen. And then our community members will say hello to you and welcome you into our community. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, God bless every one of you. And always, God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. And here is our outro. And I am out. God bless you.